Welcome to A Lunch with Biggie, a podcast about small business and creatives sharing their stories and inspiring you. My guests today were fascinated with marshmallows since being a kid, and now they create these gooey delights that make you keep coming back for s'more. Please welcome the owners of Sugar Rush Marshmallows, Julie and Jean Summers. What's going on, ladies?
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for having us.
You're very, very welcome. So obviously we're in our lunch break, so I kind of need to always ask my favorite question. What's your go-to sandwich?
Probably some sort of chicken sandwich, I guess, if I had to pick one.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a cold roast beef with a lot of veg on something grainy.
All right, perfect. And then, of course, for dessert, we're probably looking at a s'more, maybe.
S'more sandwich.
Somewhere in that universe, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere. I like that. Somewhere in that universe. That s'more universe. I like that.
Yep.
So tell people a little bit about Sugar Rush Marshmallows and what made you guys decide to start it.
I made marshmallows when I was younger, and after we moved to Orlando area, I started making them again, and started bringing them over to Jean's work, and they would test them out, and we kind of thought it was a hit, so we decided to get the ball rolling and start Sugar Rush.
I was working at a really large coffee shop at the time, and Julie you can't just make one marshmallow. I mean, you can, but it would be giant. But so I was bringing them in, and then people were giving us a lot of feedback, and it really, really helped because there are a surprisingly large amount of different ways to make a marshmallow. So we were able to kind of figure out what we wanted to do with them there, and then get a lot of feedback. Mm-hmm. And we just kept hearing, you guys should sell these. You guys should sell these. So like, all right, let's go all in and do it.
So I just out of curiosity, why marshmallows? Like because obviously there's like a variety of different things, but like, what is it about marshmallows that because you guys go into a very, you guys are very everything very like almost from scratch. So like my initial question is, why marshmallows out of all things to make? And then also the idea of why go to the extent of where you guys kind of go, where it's like you're making your own marshmallows, your extract, graham crackers, everything's from scratch. Why is that important to you?
I actually went to a marshmallow factory as a kid when we were, I think, outside of Las Vegas somewhere. So I thought that was just that the experience of that was interesting. So I got interested, I guess, in the science of making candy. And with making the extracts, I just thought it would be the right way to go. Like it's not incredibly difficult to make an extract. So why not make it as clean as possible with the best flavors we could.
Well, while you were practicing with the recipe, because I would come home from work and she would have recipes pulled out from like centuries ago, things that were written down. Like she's studying all the different techniques of how to do it and like the moisture levels and all this kind of stuff that you can control in the heat. And then on that during that process, on that journey, it's like, oh, well, let's make the extracts. Let's make the sugar syrup because there's no reason to have corn syrup. And then we can control, because we decided not to use any corn syrup. And then it was silly not to use corn syrup and then allow other things with corn. And there's corn in extracts, there's corn in powdered sugar, there's corn in everything. So in the process of trying to eliminate corn, basically just because we didn't want to use corn syrup, we ended up having to make everything. And then there's no point in making a marshmallow going through all that trouble and then putting them on someone else's graham cracker. So we had to figure out how to do that. And we just loved it, like making them, and then we can tweak them and then shape them. But it was a good way to deliver something that we could control as much of as possible and present that moment to our customer. So it was great.
No, that makes sense. Julie, how long did it take you to come up with, like, since you had so many different recipes and you were kind of coming up with it? Because I know you kind of simplified it. You were able to simplify it, make it a little bit easier for you to make. I know it's a 24-hour process, but like, how did you, like, after all those experimentations, like, how long did it take you till you were like, you know what, this is it. This is a Sugar Rush marshmallow.
It probably took a couple of months really of trial and error, and we had like A, B, and C tests, and we would test, how long they were good and the texture and what happened with those over the course of the days, weeks, and months. And
just kind of figure out what your goals are.
Yeah.
And like one of our goals was it has to taste good, toasted and not toasted. It has to feel good, toasted and not toasted, and it needs to toast a certain way. And so with all of those goals, then just tweaking things over and over again.
But yeah, it was probably about 8 months in total, I think, with daily testing.
We ate a lot of marshmallows for a while, and we're still developing it. Like we're still, as we learn, we're obviously still getting feedback from our customers and changing things. We have to change things according to the season because it's getting more humid in the summer. So our recipe has to change and our process has to change. And then, so it's
Curing
constantly
process
updating.
takes longer.
I was going to say, there's definitely a science to it. And as the longer you guys have been doing it, you kind of know those things like, okay, around this time frame, this is usually kind of where it goes. So once you got to that point, like at what point during those 8 months did you guys go, okay, you know what? I want to start doing like pop-ups and farmers markets and things like that?
Probably pretty right away. Like our first pop-up was the feedback fair at East End Market that we did. And that was our first experience with people who weren't just testing, like
that weren't my coworkers.
Yeah, that were our coworkers or friends or family. So
it was a pretty lucky thing to get hooked up with right off the bat.
Well, I was going to say, tell me a little bit about that, because that's something that I know that hasn't happened. Obviously, I don't see it happen that often. So I know it was an opportunity that came up. So tell people a little bit about how that kind of came up and how you guys were able to be a part of that, because I thought that was very interesting.
Well, just super briefly, like, I mean, there are certain things in Florida that you can make under cottage law. Marshmallows happen to be one of them. But we wanted to be able to expand quickly because marshmallows take up a lot of space and are very sticky. So we reached out to East End Market to ask about being part of their commissary kitchen. And at the time, they didn't have space in their commissary kitchen, but they were interested in the idea. So they invited us to take place in the Foodpreneur class, which we were unable to do. I can't remember why. Probably busy making marshmallows, but and then they said it's okay, you can come just to the graduation ceremony, which was the feedback fair. And we weren't really sure what to expect. We just knew that they were creating an event where people who had gone to this class, or people who were aware of it, could come and try out their branding, try out their flavors, try out their, get face-to-face interaction with people who didn't know them and didn't know their product, and then ask questions about pricing, ask questions about portions, ask questions about that kind of thing. So what an education and what a cool thing to be able to do with such a cool place. And then also to kind of get, connected with that incredible part of Orlando and that community. So that helped us out a lot. And then using, because we went into an unusual product, we were very lucky to be able to get into a lot of even the best markets really early on, because we were making something very different. And so we enjoyed a lot of access to different things in that regard that we might not have gotten if we would have done something that was had a little bit more competition.
Yeah. And I think that's something that one of the things I admire is the fact that, because you're right. It's something that is different. And so because of that, it just makes sense to kind of have that, because that's what obviously places want. Is there anything you look for when you're looking at farmers market? Because obviously, since you're basically can able to go to any one of them, because obviously a lot of them will be like, "Ooh, I'll take a sweet person, some sweets in my market." Is there anything you guys look at or like kind of like noticed or kind of become aware of that maybe you would share to someone, like let's say that they wanted to do farmers markets, anything like tips or tricks that you would think of them to be wary of, or possibly maybe just kind of be aware of what some things that you guys look for now when you're looking at entering or doing a different market?
I don't know. I mean, competition is always going to be there, even if your product is unique and you're doing a dessert. You've got several other desserts that are out there. There's only so many dessert dollars, to go around for customer acquisition. But markets are a great place to start, and getting in is just takes perseverance.
Yeah, maybe try to figure out what your goals are. Like, are you able to go out just for brand recognition, or to have a chance to talk about your product with somebody and get it out in front of people and get feedback? Or are you at the point where like it needs to be a money-making event, or you can't afford to go? And then just kind of figure out what the goals are. And sometimes you have to just go out and try it, and it's going to be a bummer, and it's going to rain, and it's going to, somebody else is like, there's going to be someone giving away something right in front of you. And like, part of it is figure out what your goals are. And part of it is just to not have expectations for what's happening, and just try to make every event as best as as good as you can. We got some pretty good advice at one of our earlier markets, where it was like, there isn't going to be a day that's going to make or break your business. So if you just kind of go in without that kind of pressure and say, let's see what we can get out of this night, who we can get in front of, how we can practice, like, just there's markets every night of the week in Central Florida, so try them and see what you think. And if it doesn't fit, then don't keep going. But if it fits, then see what you can do, see what you can offer, and see what community you can build.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. So you guys went from pop-up. So tell me a little bit about the evolution, because I love the fact that you guys went, pop-up, obviously at food markets, but then you guys also then evolved into the truck. So how was that like transition? Was that something that you guys always kind of wanted to do, was to kind of have that, the Sugar Rush Marshmallow truck, or, what was the thought process on that? Or was it just, just give me a little bit insight on there? Cause that's something that I've always thought was super cool, that you guys do that and have it. But at the same time, that's a cost. That's obviously another cost. So that's like almost like a next level. And we'll talk about the next one after that, because I know you guys I love the fact that you guys keep building upon what you're building. So you're basically almost building like a Mount Sugar Rush, marshmallow mountain, of all of activities as you keep building, which I love
Sugar
about
Rush
it.
for.
It's an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah.
But the food truck was always that was our initial goal. Like, that was what we wanted. We wanted to go to events and food truck rallies and get marshmallows and s'mores to people who would be out there. We and doing that in markets as well. It's going to where people are. I worried about having our own place and just being so, I guess, stuck in one spot. We wanted to be where people are
and get in their way. Get in their way, then they can be like, oh, I didn't know you could make a marshmallow, or I'll have a s'more. And then the food truck also is a cool way to like have the show. So we're working on like trying to do some redesigning and like invite people into that experience. And we have windows on all sides, and toasting something. Everybody loves fire. So in the tent, it was nice to have that open area, but I feel a lot safer in the food truck knowing that like nobody can reach across the table and accidentally touch something hot, but being up there and having the show and showing people what we're making, that we're making it just for them, and they can customize it. And it's a really fun experience for us. There's a little bit of a performative aspect to it that you can only do out of a food truck. And people walking by with their other food are like, hey, what's going on over there? Which wouldn't happen in a store. Yeah. But when we were building the business, we're not the only people, obviously, that make marshmallows, and we're not even the only people that make marshmallows in this area. And I would definitely recommend to anybody who's trying to start any kind of business, look at what the people that are doing similar to what you're doing, what are they doing? Yeah. And obviously there are some lessons you're going to have to learn on your own. And there are some lessons you can learn from other people and say, you know what, I don't think I want to wait for people to come into my shop. And especially with just two people, it's really difficult to run a shop. And a food truck was a way to get out there and still be able to control the process with minimal staff. And so
I'm assuming also the food truck allowed you to then start doing other things that you guys do. Like you guys have that, like the frozen marshmallows, which is something that you probably was way harder to do out of a pop-up in a cooler versus being in a trailer, and things like that. So I definitely think that those things then opened up avenues for you to then kind of say, oh, I can now expand some of my product as well when it comes to that. another thing
Absolutely.
that I think during that time between the pop-up, between doing and obviously you sold, and I was kind of curious about that aspect as well. Like how soon, because obviously you were producing you were doing flaming up and kind of like
Mhm.
browning and tarting up, like marshmallows, but then doing s'mores. But then you guys were also packaging the s'mores. At what point did you guys say, you know what, we should start packaging, because obviously people are going to love this and go, man, I want to eat more of these. At what point did you guys just start kind of thinking like, hey, I want to start packaging these, and not only put them in, for me to sell when I'm doing markets, but also
Mhm.
maybe possibly hit up stores to possibly sell my product in theirs.
I mean, that was also for
Yeah, those happened
markets. Like,
together.
yeah, everything pretty much happened together.
Yeah.
Like with packaging, that was the best way for customers to get our product.
Yeah.
And a farmer's market at 11 o'clock in the morning, a s'more is not really their first choice all the time, but they will see that package of marshmallows and understand that they can do something with it later
Right.
when they are interested in having something sweet or something hot.
So that in that case, the markets ended up kind of being a demo
Yeah.
situation for us. So, and then also packaging is a great way to spread your brand. And we were really interested in getting a brand across that people thought was approachable and memorable.
Yeah.
And packaging is an easier way to do that than just a s'more on a plate,
Correct. So, and I think that's something that you guys have done really good at, at doing with like your little characters, and kind of building that little universe of like, kind of making it approachable, making it fun, which I think is kind of what, that's the idea. Like when I think of a s'more, I think of being a kid and summer and just like that gooiness and fun, when it comes to that, which I think is really amazing what you guys have been able to kind of, how you've been able to do it. What would you say is some of the hardest things that you've learned or gotten through all of this? Because you've been doing this now for a few years. So like what are some of the hard parts that come with this? Obviously not everything is sweet and easy. There's sometimes those graham crackers crumble. So kind of give me a little bit of the reality, I guess, some of the realities of, of kind of going through that journey of what you guys have learned.
Julie likes to say, like, she'll tell people it's like, you already know it's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but you have no idea, how hard it's going to be. And I think some of the hard parts are just people not liking what you're doing or not getting it. And sometimes it's like you work so hard for something and you go out to present it to somebody and it just falls short somehow. And you kind of have to learn how to manage that. If you're the one making it, packaging it, shopping it, researching it, and selling it, it can, even though like this isn't our grandma's recipe, like we don't have like a you just insulted my grandma problem, but it does kind of like, it's like I haven't slept in 2 years, just like it, so managing that, but also just like part of building when we transitioned from East End Market, which was great, like the amount that we were able to learn there was incredible, transitioning to our own kitchen so we could expand. That was very challenging.
We had a flood.
Yeah. Part of our upgrades.
Like 2 weeks before we were gonna open our space for our kitchen, and a cap blew off the wall and flooded our space and our neighbors' spaces on either side. And
that shut us down for a long time, on top of like just being really discouraging. And then we opened back up again. And then a couple of days later, everything shut down for the pandemic. And so it was really scary trying to figure out how to navigate that when it's your whole life, when you feel like you're doing it right and you're on the right track. And so, I mean, that's another thing is like, sometimes you can do everything right and things just don't work out. And, we've got a lot of support and a lot of great people to help pick us back up again and put us back. And we have wonderful customers that help us get through that. But there are definitely days where it would be a lot easier if we had a boss to be mad at, or if we had
someone to talk about afterward.
Someone to be like, that guy doesn't know what they're doing. And it's like, it's me, I don't know what I'm doing. So
that's so true. That's so true. because since I do, obviously I only person I can be mad at when it comes to deli fresh dreads is me.
Mhm.
There's
Yep.
nobody
Mhm.
else. I got nobody else to complain about, and if I fall short, it's me, not anyone else. So
Yep.
it's always a tough one to, because sometimes you just need to vent. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally understand that aspect of it. So tell me a little bit about the kitchen, because like I know that you guys, that was like a big one, because obviously that made you kind of be able to do more mass production, obviously because you needed the
Yes.
space.
Mhm.
So is that something that you guys decided, you were like, hey, it's going to be cheaper for me to do my own kitchen than me going to a commissary kitchen? Is that kind of where the thought process kind of went? Because I know sometimes folks that are making food, they kind of need to go to a commissary kitchen. Is that
Mhm.
something you guys kind of thought of doing? Is that what it was, the thought process behind it?
Yeah, I mean, for the product, if we're going to increase the size of the product, that also increases the curing time. So even being in a commissary kitchen where we were allowed to have our product sit in a safe place overnight, to have it sit in a safe place for a week is not realistic,
Yeah.
So yeah, getting a space just to make sure that our product is safe, and setting up and breaking down every single day
Yeah.
is a lot. And we were picking up, 2 freezers and putting them in the back of our truck and
Mhm.
taking them out, every day just to make the frozen ones. And it's just a lot. So
Yeah.
it was
Bringing mixers with us, bringing
Mhm.
pans with us, bringing, and it's a lot of carrying things around. So
It's like we found that we were using the commercial KitchenAid mixers and they just couldn't handle the
Mhm.
job. So we would have to replace a commercial KitchenAid mixer almost every month.
but that was the
Wow.
biggest one we could
Mhm.
carry. So it's
Yeah.
like, so getting a kitchen was the only way to get to
Mhm.
the next step,
No,
whatever that ends up looking like.
and that makes sense, because it's almost like wasted production time of you
Yes.
trying to
Mhm.
go and like the loading and unloading and the transportation and all of that. I mean, if you thinking about that, that makes total sense why you guys would
Yeah.
have to go through that.
And it's
Mhm.
impossible to hire staff with something like
Correct.
that, so yeah, there's only
Mhm.
so much that can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know now that you guys have moved. So I know obviously some channels that you guys obviously sell at, and correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously the markets and events. You guys
Mhm.
also do sell your products in different outlets and stores that people can buy your product. But then you guys also do online
Mhm.
as well. People can actually purchase online, which I
Yeah.
think is great. Doing that. Is there any issues when it comes to stuff like that? When it comes to shipping marshmallows and things like that? Online, just because of like heat and all those things going from one location to another sometimes?
For the marshmallows, it's not so much of a problem. It can be like, actually, the ones that get shipped locally seem to have the most problems because a lot of the mailboxes in this area are in the center of the sun. It's that mailbox that's just right out there getting hit by sunlight all
Yep.
the time.
Yeah.
So anything that's ever come back melted, or we've heard about that's been melted, has been local.
Yeah.
So we end up just
Trying to bring it to them or have them pick it up, or
Yeah.
Mhm.
something like
No.
that. So
But yeah, out of state, we've never had a problem.
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, sometimes for like our
Mhm.
s'more pies and anything that has chocolate, obviously you're going to run a risk. So we have to just be careful how.
Mhm. And we have those insulators as well.
Yeah.
So can
Yeah,
use
which
those.
that plays another game then too, right? Needing that extra space for all those things, for packaging and all those other things
Sure.
that go with it.
Packaging's the hard part for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, mail and packaging, trust me,
Yeah.
I feel you. I'm actually I'm in the process of ordering more boxes, because I use a local box company here in Central Florida that I buy my boxes from. And so I buy them, like I'll go, and instead of doing the shipment, I'll drive in, open up my pilot, the trunk, and I lower all the
Mhm.
seats, and I just like literally shove as many boxes
Mhm.
of that I can buy to kind of have, just because since obviously I'm running everything through my house. So I definitely understand that. I know. So I definitely understand it. My garage understands too when I see all the boxes and shipping and the weights and things fluctuating with price. And to me, I could only
Mhm.
imagine, like, mine obviously looks like food, but is not food, but yours is
Yeah.
food. And so then you also have all those type of things because you want it to have that look and that, when they open it and grab it and all those things. I also want to kind of talk about the fact that, like, I love the fact that you guys have, you guys obviously created a bunch of different product lines, but you brought up the idea that you make a s'mores pie, obviously using your own graham crackers, as the
Sure.
crust and everything like that. But you also make a heck of an amazing marshmallow fluff,
Oh, thank
or
you.
cream or marshmallow cream. I think that's what
Mhm.
it's properly supposed to be called. And also obviously the stuffed marshmallows. So I definitely think, I think it's amazing what you guys have seriously done. You guys definitely do an amazing job. I love the fact that you do create all these things, so it kind of provides almost very artisan in the sense that it's not like, hey, because I can understand someone coming back and going like, oh, well, it's just a marshmallow. Yeah, but everything's made from scratch. You know what I mean? And it tastes so freaking good.
Well, thank you.
Like even just getting, like, when you get just like a toasted marshmallow from a stick and you guys toast it, it's just like it just brings you back, and it's super delicious. So I definitely think you guys
Thank
are doing
you.
an amazing job with
Well,
with
thank
what you
you.
guys are creating, which is amazing to me. What other do you have any advice for someone starting out, like, and wanting to start a business?
For me, it was make sure that you can see yourself doing it every
Mhm.
day. Yeah, make sure you can see yourself doing it every day because it's every day.
Yeah, and do your
Mhm.
research. There's lots of information out there on whatever you want to do, and you can learn from other people's experiences. And a lot of people are willing to tell you, what the right, what's working for them. But just you're gonna likely be working your butt off for somebody, so you might as well do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And just if you can see yourself doing it, then just do it. Just do it.
No, that's very accurate and very true, because I definitely think that there's going to be good times and bad times when you're going on this journey on trying to do anything, starting anything,
Anything.
any type of journey, whether it's starting a business or even starting a hobby, or just something self-improvement wise. It's definitely a journey. So I definitely can see that. Do you guys have any final thoughts or advice that you would want to share with anyone, or maybe a mantra that you guys, or a motto that you guys run with, whether doing an event or maybe even inside the shop when you're creating sweet marshmallows?
I know Julie
Oh.
always says, I'm just trying to have a good day,
Yeah.
or we're just trying to have a good time. And I think that's a good way to kind of keep focused, whether it's a good day for us or a good day for our customer, or just try to have a good day, and then let that kind of guide you through it.
No.
Simple enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the way to go. What I'll ask one other question, and then I'll kind of ask for you guys to give a little bit more information about you guys. Do you guys have, so we're obviously going into the new year. Do you guys have, what do you guys, I'm kind of curious about, how do you guys go into a new year when it comes to that? Like, obviously, some people do vision boards, some people do things like that. Is there anything that you guys do as a business of kind of like goal setting and what goals you're kind of trying to set, and like maybe things that you're kind of looking at? Or maybe I'll even rewind, since we're ending a year. Do you guys do any, kind of look backs on what you've done, and what you've accomplished, during a pandemic, and on all those things, and the positives? I'm just kind of curious if you do anything like that, because I know I tend to be bad at not doing that, and I tend to be sometimes short-sighted, even though I preach it very well. I sometimes forget it. So that's why I'm kind of curious what other people do, for either setting goals, as well as also looking back at goals that they've accomplished.
I think that this time for any small business, or any big business even, is really difficult, because what worked 2 or 3 years ago is not working the same way now. So we're really fortunate because, as you said, we've got the food truck, we've got online, we've got catering, we've got wholesale, we've got whatever. So kind of looking into, if things stay the way they are now, what should we put our attention into? Because there's just the two of us. So if food trucks are going to be the show, and then we can put more into online, then let's put our energy into that. But we, try to think about what can you actually do, and then say, how can you put your energy into what's going to have the best payoff, while still getting, like, we need the customer interaction. I need it for sure. So like I have to keep food truck events, even if it's a little tricky to do them right now.
Mhm.
If we just go like full online or wholesale, it's going to be really bad for my heart.
Yeah.
But so just seeing what could we do? What are we even capable of? And then what's the best way to focus our attention and energy into that to make it work, and just try things, just try.
Mhm.
Right now it's hard. I think that a lot of small businesses need to be careful how much pressure they put on themselves to fight something that's just, it's not mappable currently. So staying flexible and trying to give yourself a little bit of kindness, I think, is the only way to push forward right now, I think.
Julie, you got anything else to add?
No.
She did a really good
pretty
job.
much it. She does.
No, but I agree with you. That to me, as much as I did online shopping, I did a lot of online. To me, the human interaction, even though I only did I did way less than I
Right.
did years past. I needed it because sometimes you kind of need that. You need that. I'm gonna say it. I need that immediate gratification.
Sure.
Of
Mhm.
seeing someone light up or seeing someone like, be excited about something like that.
Yes.
In your case, like you guys see full immediate gratification because as soon as they put it
Mhm.
in their mouths and they do that, they do it. It's so good, and like, you know what I mean. Like you become like a kid again. Like that
Yeah.
automatically helps you. In my world, it's more of like, hey, like, oh, what is this? So it's like it's a little different, but I definitely need it. Just heck,
Yeah.
even just someone coming and talking to me about sandwiches does it
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me, because I definitely understand that. So definitely get it. Where can people find you and support you? And also, most of all, especially since I have people that listen from everywhere, shop online if they wanted to shop online and get some marshmallows and make their own s'mores. And then
Mhm.
before I even say that, I'm going to ask another question. I want home s'more making technique. I thought about this just because if I buy some marshmallows from you online, like I said, Sugar Rush Marshmallows, and what's your technique on how you think I should make it at home? Because I don't have you with a torch doing it. So
Mhm.
what do you guys recommend? It would be some proper ways that you guys would think, maybe some tips and tricks for home s'more makers.
I mean, I still recommend like a brulee torch.
Okay.
Mhm.
Brulee torch and those little sternos are a lot of fun. You can just sit
Like
around
for
the
chafing
table. Yeah,
dishes.
for like a chafing dish. And those are a lot of fun to sit around with your friends or family and just torch around your little makeshift fire.
Yeah, or just regular fire.
Mhm.
It's obviously a classic way to do it. One of the reasons that we started making s'mores actually was over a bad s'more making experience, bad technique experience.
Yes.
When we first got together, we were trying to make s'mores for some friends. On
When
a
we
camping
lived
trip when we
overseas,
in,
nobody
yeah,
knew what s'mores were.
yeah. So we were on a camping trip with some friends, and like we're trying to make s'mores without any of the correct items because we couldn't make a fire for some reason. So we're like trying to make it with these weird like sterno press things, and like it was a disaster. So definitely don't try that. But yeah, even a cigar lighter, those little tiny butane torches are great for toasting marshmallows
Mhm.
at home. So however you do it, just have fun. That's the point.
Yeah. No, I get it. I usually do mine I've done it on the grill. I've
Mhm.
grilled mine, and then I've also
Mm.
done them in the oven.
Like a foil packet
Yeah, I do
situation.
like a foil
Yeah.
packet version of it, just so that way I can put everything inside. So it takes away the fact, because obviously there's no feeling better than when you're doing it on a fire and you get like
Sure.
that char, you get like your char or however you like your marshmallow to be. But at least for the ooey gooey chocolate melt, everything like that, I usually do put it on the foil pack on the grill or in the oven type of thing, as a dessert. So that's why I was kind of curious what the experts say on it, because
Well, how do you like it? Are you a dark marshmallow, tan marshmallow? How do you do it?
I'm open to either. I'll eat my marshmallow any way I can get it, as long as it's kind of gooey in the inside. I have no problem. But I usually if I do it, I've done it both ways, where I char it, where I like flame on and I blow it out,
Mhm.
and then I have others where I actually do like where I want it nice and brown, so I like I put it up high enough where I can rotate it and get that like nice golden brown on it.
Yeah.
I'll do that. And then obviously when I do the chocolate and everything like that, and then I guess my last more, asking question is, just because I'm really I really want one now, is do you have a chocolate preference? Do you guys, is it like the traditional Hershey bar, or do you guys have like a chocolate preference when you guys make this? Obviously I like playing around, and I do a variety of different things. Like I'll put peanut butter on my graham cracker as well, and do all that. But I'm just kind of curious if there's anything that you, if there's a chocolate of choice that you guys like when you make your s'mores.
We use for the food truck, and well, we use Ghirardelli chocolate. So we use either milk, dark or white chocolate that they have, that we go pick up at the Disney Springs store.
Yeah, we do that because it melts so nice.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, and it's just simple ingredients, Ghirardelli is just nothing fussy. And, but we have a lot of different s'mores. We'll make chocolate sauce. We definitely do peanut butter, Nutella. We make a gorgeous salted caramel, if I say so myself. And that's really good on a s'more. And we're always trying to have extra items for people to be able to customize their s'more on the spot. For Halloween, we like to do like Reese cups and things like that. But since we avoid corn, it kind of limits. We try to keep that limited. But yeah, it's such a cool vehicle to be able to do so many different kinds of things.
Well, I mean, I absolutely loved what you guys created with, I mean, obviously you guys have done everything from like your rainbow s'more, which is amazing. But one of my favorites for the holidays that I thought was like amazing, because it's hot cocoa season, is the looks like the melted snowman that you can, like the kind of floater, the marshmallow floater. So to me, it looks like a snowman that's like you're melting a snowman inside your cup, inside your mug, and it's great. So you guys definitely do a great job. I definitely recommend having them check it out. With that being said, where can people follow and support and shop online?
The best place to find all of our information is probably going to be our Instagram, just at Sugar Rush Marshmallows. I have a link tree in the bio there, and it'll help you find our website. We do Uber Eats on, special certain weekends. We have our calendar for our food truck events. And then definitely keep an eye on the online store. We have a lot of things we want to try this year to help get it to have more items that can be shipped. We really want to open that up so that we can bring more fun to more people.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I definitely appreciate it. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much to Julie and Jean Summers for being on of Sugar Rush Marshmallows, for having lunch with me. Definitely make sure to check them out online. And if you're a local, definitely go to an event, definitely save some room for s'mores and marshmallows. You'll thank me afterwards. If you enjoyed the show, definitely make sure to subscribe, tell your friends. If you want to support me, check out my brand, Deli Fresh Threads, and do some shopping. And obviously tell all your friends to shop local as much as possible and shop small. Thank you. Until next time, keep eating sandwiches and follow your passion. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.